Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another predictions video. We're back with the Championship predictions after midweek games, and I'm joined by Sophie. How are you doing?
Surprisingly positive actually, after that game last night. Not related to Coventry, because I think that was pretty poor, but it was against Preston, so it's just one of them.
Yeah, it weren't great, I'll be honest, and I'm not filled with much confidence coming into Coventry's game this weekend. Nonetheless, we'll predict all the Championship games. Once again, we are bringing a video to you via Betmate. Now, Betmate is an app you can download, and it's got all sorts of fantastic fantasy footballs you can get involved with, including Championship fantasy football that they always do at 3 PM on the Saturdays. There's always a free pot as well, so it is free to join. I would say get involved. There is a link down in the description. Go join in. You had a go. It's quite good, isn't it?
I did actually, yeah. I wasn't the best at it, but I'm quite new to it, so I'm going to go again this weekend.
Yeah, it's certainly worth getting involved if you like your fantasy football. It's a bit of fun. Let's get into the Championship predictions then, starting with West Bromwich Albion versus Burnley. West Brom drawing a lot of games, I'll be honest. They look like they could be winning more based on the performances. They're up against the Burnley side, where Burnley will be a tough test compared to maybe one or two of the games West Brom have played lately. I think this will be a tricky one. I might have to go for a draw. They keep drawing West Brom. I'm going to start with a 1-1.
No, I'm going to back Burnley to win this. I get what you're saying about West Brom. They're not playing badly. They are picking up way too many draws. They need to start turning them into wins, obviously. But I don't think they're going to do that against Burnley. They're looking very solid for me. So, Burnley 3-1.
Burnley 3-1. Wow, that is a big win at the Hawthorns. Next up, we'll go to Blackburn versus Bristol City. Blackburn finally up and running again with a win after 3 defeats. Bristol City, meanwhile, I'm keeping an eye on them now, because they've got a bit of momentum going. They're just outside the playoffs, and the home form's really good. Can they build and get some away wins in there? I'm going to say they could win here. Blackburn are capable of winning this, but I think they're quite unpredictable. Bristol City are certainly more consistent at the moment. 2-1 to the Robins.
Okay, yeah, I could see that playing out. However, I am going to be boring and back a draw, just because Blackburn, I really struggle to predict them. They're just such an inconsistent team. Whereas, yeah, Bristol City, they are very good. As you said, they are better at home. But still, I think a point away at Blackburn isn't a bad result. So I'm going to say 1-1.
1-1. Next up, Luton Town take on Wigan. Luton's only wins now are in Wales. They've won at Cardiff. They've won at Swansea. Still yet to win. Still yet to win in England. They need to get a home win soon. Their performances have looked pretty good, and against a Wigan side who are doing okay so far for a newly promoted side. I think they'll steer clear of trouble if they keep doing what they're doing. But I do fancy Luton to edge this 1-0.
Yeah, I think Luton are going to have a good game here. I think, yeah, they are playing well, and they are starting to put some results together, and I think they're going to have a good weekend, so 3-0. 3-0.
Next up, Millwall take on Cardiff. Can Millwall get some momentum going again? They're up against the Cardiff side who also lost in midweek. They lost to Luton. Two sides that could do with a pick-me-up, and I'm going to back the home side. We like Millwall when they're at home. I'm saying 2-0 to the Lions.
I like a 1-0 Millwall win when they're at home, so I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, they're just a safe bet at home.
Yeah, it is, to be honest. They'll probably lose now, but I think, yeah, I can see a 1-0 playing out against Cardiff, so I'll back that.
Solid team, Millwall. Next up, we'll go to Norwich City versus Coventry City. Honestly, it is not good for Coventry right now. It's 3 defeats and 1 draw, and if you include the Carabao Cup game, it's another defeat in there.
We don't want to include that.
It's just a mess. And we've got Norwich and West Brom and Luton next. Teams we don't usually beat. No chance. I'm sorry, Coventry fans. I'd love to get something. A draw would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say 2-1 to Norwich. They're up and running now.
Yeah, honestly, I can't see us winning there. Like you said, they are up and running. I don't think they're not absolutely rolling teams like I thought they would, to be honest. I mean, they might roll us this weekend, but I can't really see that happening. I'm going to be hopeful and back a draw. I'm really, really hoping that actually plays out. I would take a draw, so 1-1.
That'd be great. We'll see. Next up, to deep down, Preston versus Birmingham. Preston with a 7th clean sheet. I feel like we could have got something against them. We hit the bar, we hit the post, but ultimately they're just a solid team.
At the back.
So solid, yeah. Really solid team, and they're up against Birmingham, who lost again, 94th minute winner against Norwich. They did give them a good go, and Birmingham are capable of grinding out results, and that new player Hannibal looks quite interesting. I feel like they could give this a good go, but I fancy Preston to be too strong. I'm going to say 1-0 Preston.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the 0-0 draws.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because, I mean, being at home against Blues, maybe they will win this. I definitely think they're going to keep a clean sheet, because, as you said, they well, as we've seen, they just look absolutely solid at the back. They've just got defenders throwing themselves on the floor, on the line, like it's a cup final. And that's what you want, to be honest. The only thing they kind of need to improve on for me is their strike force. I think their midfield is very solid as well. So yeah, I'm just going to have a safe bet and go back to a 0-0 draw.
Wouldn't it be typical of the Championship if Birmingham go and win at Preston like 3-0 or something?
Absolutely ruin their defence now.
Next up, Rotherham take on Watford. Rotherham's first defeat was against a newly promoted side as well in Sunderland. They lost 3-0 there after you backed them to beat them.
Yeah, sorry.
Not one of your greatest predictions, I must say. They're up against Watford, who are just looking pretty solid, to be fair. Watford won in the last minute against Middlesbrough, and I fancy Watford here. Are Rotherham going to maybe slide down the table? Hopefully not for their sakes, but I do fancy Watford. 2-0.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to back Watford as well. I did think Rotherham might pick up something at Sunderland, but they played very, very well. Yeah, Watford, I think they're just looking very solid, to be honest. It's looking like the automatics is going to be on.
Yeah.
And I think if they are going to be pushing for the automatics, they've got to win games like this. And I think they will. 3-1.
Okay, next up, Swansea versus QPR. QPR are starting to gather a bit of momentum. It'd be great if they could get a win here at Swansea. It would really look, that'd be a good statement win on top of the other wins. It really looked like they're a team that looked to be seriously in the top 6 race. Whereas Swansea are a team we've said that play nice football, and they nearly got the win at Stoke if it wasn't for a 91st minute equaliser. Joel Perreault got the goal and they were in front for so long and then they blew it. I just fancy QPR. Swansea, I feel like could get going later in the season, but QPR at the moment have the momentum. I'll say 2-1 to the R's. Yeah,
I think I'm going to have to back a QPR win as well. To be honest, I genuinely thought Swansea had won until I checked this morning, and I was like, oh, they conceded so late on. That's pretty gutting. But they've had a pretty poor start to the season, and I think there's going to reach a point where there's going to be a bit of pressure on the manager, and I do quite like him as a manager. I think they play good football. But I think they're going to lose at home to QPR. 3-1 again.
Okay, next up, Reading versus Stoke City. Reading were top of the league, then they got demolished 4-0 by Sheffield United. Stoke City, meanwhile, they're trying to pick up some momentum. They've got the new manager now. They got the late draw against Swansea. There's 1 or 2 results before then that's making it look a bit better there. But I think with Reading, one thing I'm learning is they will bounce back from certain things, and I fancy them 2 here. I fancy Reading 2-1.
Okay, I'm going to back a draw here. I think it shows good heart to kind of come back when you're losing so late on and pick up at least something, which Stoke did. And yeah, I'm going to be boring and predict a 1-1 draw. Okay,
Hull City take on Sheffield United. Sheffield United looking good. It was a very good win against Reading, 4-0 there. Hull City, meanwhile, brought back down to earth after the Coventry win when they lost to QPR. I fancy the Blades here. I feel like Hull could give them a good game. Hull have been quite good at home, but maybe the Blades to edge it. I'll say 2-1 Sheffield United.
I'm going to say 2-0 Sheffield United. I think they are looking very solid, especially in that Reading game. And we both predicted a win. I think we know they're in good form. And yeah, Hull are not an easy team to beat. We learned that. However, I think Sheffield United have got the quality to do that, so 2-0.
Last up then, Middlesbrough versus Sunderland. This is quite an interesting matchup. Middlesbrough lost late on against Watford. You can see they've got the manager and the players and the capability, but they're yet to really get going. They have got their first win, but it was a bit frustrating to lose in midweek. Sunderland, a massive win against Rotherham. And do you know what? I'm going to go for a really out there prediction here. I fancy Sunderland to win 3-1 at Middlesbrough. I fancy Sunderland. I feel like they've had a good start, and Middlesbrough yet to get going.
Yeah, no, I'm actually going to predict a Sunderland win as well. I think they've got a great player in Stewart, to be honest. He got 2 midweek, and I think he's just looking solid for them. So if they can keep hold of him, which is looking likely, to be honest, then I think they're set to have a good season. And I think they're going to pick up the win at a kind of depleted Middlesbrough team. So yeah, 2-1 for me. I think it's going to be a bit of a tighter game, but 2-1. 2-1
Sunderland. That wraps up our predictions, guys. Get your thoughts down below. As ever, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and check out Betmate. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.